everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Fiddle. I am an artist, a crafter, and a miniaturist that likes to teach others that they can be creative too. Link to Scavenger Hunt, patterns, and materials is listed in the description box below. And please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. It really helps me out a lot with YouTube's algorithm. Okay, are you ready? Let's go. Today's project is this cute twine conversation chair. I had planned to put all three tutorials, the stove, the chair, and the basket in one, but my computer said no. So we are going to start with the chair. I got most of my supplies from Dollar Tree. I used this twine ribbon, but you have to do a little bit of prep work. You need to take the lace off. We don't need it right now. It comes off pretty easy with scissors or a seam ripper. I think my piece was about 5 inches long, but it's a pretty big chair that I made. You can certainly go smaller, and that's why I didn't make a pattern for this. How I figured out what size I wanted was by looking around my desk for circles that were the same size as what I wanted. I think I used my glue bottle and traced the bottom for this. Random things. The smaller in size you go, you might want to consider gluing the ribbon before you cut it, meaning trace your outline that you make with glue, let it dry, and then cut it out as we do here. This ribbon has a wire on both sides of it, and that is really going to help us with the structure. We want to leave about 1 or 2 rows on each side. This gives us a little bit more to glue onto when we glue our piece together. It also helps the twine to stay wrapped around the wire. When you cut it too close to the wire, it starts to come undone. Now that our pieces are cut out, we can glue the sides down. One of the things that I like about this is that it kind of gives it a finished edge. If you didn't want to do a trim for your chair, you wouldn't have to. You could just leave it like this. I used Aleene's tacky glue, but you can use white glue or even wood glue, although that might become a little too brittle over time for the twine. Your best friend is going to become paper clamps for these projects. They work perfect to hold it together so it can dry. It's better to take the sides of the oval down than it is to take the flat edge sides up, and that is because when you're taking the oval down, you're bringing it to the corner point where a natural raw edge would be, whereas if we did it the other way around, going the straight line and curving it up, we would have that hard cut off point and you would be able to see that connection there. Once it's dry, pull your clamps off and trim your edges with your glued edges facing down. Add a dab of glue to the corner of one of our pieces and glue them together. Make sure they're pointing in the opposite direction. That's what makes it a conversation chair. While that's drying, we're going to prep the back of the chair. This time we're going to use the lace to our advantage. If you look down the center of it, there's a perfectly straight line down the middle of the ribbon. We are going to cut along this line, making 2 equal parts, and that will give us both the top and bottom of the chair. Once you have your pieces cut, use your seam ripper or tiny scissors and take the lace off. We won't be using it anymore. Gluing the cut edge down, we're going to take a bead of glue all the way around the outside edge of our first chair. This way you can take it little by little and make sure that your lines all match up. Keep going until you get to the other side of the chair. If you need to, use clamps along the way. Set it aside for drying time, and we're going to start working on the cushions. Using the same circle shape that we did for the base of the chair, trace it onto a piece of foam and cut it out. Next, lay your foam onto your fabric and cut about a half an inch around. That should give you enough room to fold your fabric over. Make a sandwich with your fabric, cushion, and cardboard. Start with the long side first, adding a bead of glue to just the edge of the cardboard. Without pressing so hard that it mashes down your cushion, lay your fabric over the edge. This next fold, I'm not exactly sure how to explain it, but I'll just let my fingers do the talking. Now that our cushions are ready, we're going to turn our attention back to the chair. Add a bead of glue along the underneath side of your chair, and we're going to take the other piece of ribbon that we had cut in half and follow along the edge of the chair. Be sure that while you're doing this, you are putting the cut edge in the glue, not the wired edge. Next, decide on which side you want to be your seat and which side you want to be the bottom. Take a piece of half a strip, glue that in to cover up the front lower part of the chair for both sides, and don't forget to make sure that your cut edges are facing the glue. Now you're going to have to do a little bit of prep work to make the trim to go around basically every edge there is on the chair. To do this, braid a long strand of twine, put glue around all of my edges, and lay the rope on top of it. If you run out of rope in the middle of a long distance piece, back up all the way to where that point begins and cut it there at a corner or an ending point, so that way you're not having a raw edge in the middle of the chair. Once you are finished adding the trim where you want it, you are done with the chair. Pretty simple, easy, and can be used for making other pieces of furniture. This is very universal. Just like wire, you can make just about anything with it. If you've made it this far, thank you for being here. If you would like to see more, hit the subscribe button. But for now, we're going to move on to the second part of this tutorial, which is the little wood basket. First, we're going to start with another piece of our ribbon that has been delaced. Draw out and cut an oval pattern. An oval glue bottle would work for this. Okay, I think I'm done saying oval. Once you have your shape drawn out, cut it out as we did the couch by leaving 2 rows or so and the wire edging. Next, glue your wire around to make your trim. For my basket, it was easier for me to bring both sides together to a point than it was for me to bring one all the way around. Clamp as needed and then let it dry. Leaving about 2 inches extra. Start at the center of the pointed end of the oval. Work your way around to the other side. When you've reached the midpoint, bring both of your ends together to the center. This is going to make the handle. You'll want to add a little bit of tension so it brings the sides of the basket upwards. Glue and clamp the handle so it holds it while you continue with the longer piece of twine to wrap the rest of the way around the basket. When you reach the other side where your handle starts to come up, leave just about a half an inch of extra to go up the handle side. Now we're going to make a stabilizing base for the basket. For that, we're going to take a piece of our braided twine and glue it into a circle. Just make sure that it's small enough that it fits on the bottom of our basket. Next, take a long strand of twine and wrap it around the handle. This will make it a little stiffer and hold its shape. Then we're going to do the same thing, just on the sides where the handle comes upward. I think I did maybe 3 or 4 wraps per side. Trim off the excess, and with that, our little basket is done. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. The next one will be the stove. I'm sorry I couldn't fit it in with this one, but it will be coming soon. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as it really helps me out a lot, and I'll see you next time.